Why is it that some meals leave you feeling light and energized, while others, no matter how healthy they seem, leave you bloated, sluggish, or even a little foggy? Most people assume bloating is just a normal part of aging, or a side effect of eating too much. But the real story is far more fascinating and far more fixable than most realize. Your body is designed to digest food with ease, efficiency, and precision. In fact, digestion is one of the most elegantly orchestrated processes in the entire body. From the moment food enters your mouth, a symphony of enzymes, acids, hormones, and muscular contractions begin to coordinate to break it down, absorb nutrients, and keep your system moving smoothly. But when just one part of that chain is disrupted, whether by stress, poor timing, weakened stomach acid, or a missing enzyme, the whole system slows down. The result: you feel heavy, inflamed, and bloated. Here's the good news. Bloating is not a disease. It's a signal from your body that something in the process of digestion needs support. And that support doesn't always come in a bottle. Often it comes from understanding your body's rhythms, eating in alignment with your digestive power, and avoiding the most common triggers that quietly derail healthy digestion, especially as we age. For seniors and health-conscious adults, this matters more than ever. That bloated feeling isn't just uncomfortable, it interferes with nutrient absorption, disrupts sleep, and increases systemic inflammation, which accelerates aging from the inside out. When digestion suffers, everything suffers. Energy, mental clarity, immune function, even your mood. One of the most misunderstood pieces of this puzzle is the role of stomach acid. We've been taught to fear acid, to neutralize it with antacids, or suppress it with medications. But your stomach acid isn't the problem, it's the solution. You need strong acid to break down protein, absorb minerals like magnesium and B12, and signal the next stages of digestion. And as you age, stomach acid naturally declines. That's why many older adults feel worse after meals, even if they're eating better. We'll also explore the powerful role of bile, your liver's digestive fluid, and why poor bile flow is a hidden root cause of bloating after eating. You'll learn how simple habits like meal timing, chewing thoroughly, and supporting your vagus nerve can help reboot your digestion and reduce that heavy bloated feeling without medication. By the end of this video, you'll understand what's really happening when you feel bloated after eating, and more importantly, how to fix it with natural science-backed strategies that support your body's built-in intelligence. If you care about sleeping deeper, healing faster, and aging with energy, make sure to watch until the end and subscribe so you don't miss the natural wisdom your body is craving. One of the most persistent myths in digestive health is that bloating comes from too much stomach acid. For decades, people have been reaching for antacids, thinking the burning and pressure they feel after eating is because their stomach is overproducing acid. But here's what's really happening in your body, especially as you age. Your stomach is supposed to be extremely acidic. We're talking a pH of around 1.5 to 2. That's as acidic as battery acid. And there's a reason for that. This acid, hydrochloric acid, acts like the ignition switch of your entire digestive system. It begins the breakdown of proteins, activates digestive enzymes, and sterilizes your food. But most importantly, it signals to the rest of your gut that food is on the way and digestion needs to start. As we get older, the cells in our stomach lining, called parietal cells, naturally begin to produce less hydrochloric acid. This decline is slow and often silent. You may still feel discomfort after meals, so it's easy to assume you have too much acid, but what's happening is that your food isn't breaking down properly. Protein especially becomes a problem. When protein isn't acidified, it starts to putrefy, literally rot, in the stomach. That process creates gas, bloating, and pressure. It can push stomach contents upward, creating a burning sensation that mimics heartburn. But it's not acid overload, it's acid deficiency. This is why so many people get temporary relief from antacids, but continue to feel bloated and depleted over time. Because neutralizing what little acid is left only worsens the problem in the long term. Your body is trying to digest, but without the acid, it's stuck at the starting line. This is especially important for older adults. Hydrochloric acid is also responsible for unlocking vital minerals from food, like magnesium, calcium, iron, and zinc. It's also necessary for absorbing vitamin B12, which is critical for memory, nerve health, and energy. Without acid, these nutrients pass right through your system unabsorbed, so that bloated meal you thought was just a bad combination might actually be a sign your body isn't making the acid it needs to begin the digestive process at all. So what can you do? Fortunately, this is one of the most fixable problems in functional health. The first step is to avoid suppressing your acid further. If you're using over-the-counter antacids regularly, it may be time to talk to your doctor about reassessing their necessity. In many cases, people find that once they support their acid production, the symptoms they thought were from excess acid actually disappear. One gentle natural protocol to support stomach acid is using apple cider vinegar before meal. Just 1 tablespoon diluted in a small glass of water, taken 10 to 15 minutes before eating, can prime your stomach for digestion. Another option is using betaine hydrochloride with pepsin, a natural supplement that mimics your own stomach acid. But this should always be introduced carefully and under guidance, especially if you're on medications. You can also stimulate acid naturally by simply chewing your food more thoroughly. The process of chewing, known as mastication, does more than break food into smaller pieces. It signals your stomach and pancreas to prepare enzymes and acid. Most people chew far too little and eat too fast. Slowing down can radically improve how you feel after meals. Even your meal setting matters. Sitting upright, breathing deeply before you begin, and eating in a calm environment all support the parasympathetic, or rest and digest, state that allows acid to flow freely. Digestion is not mechanical, it's biological, and biology responds to context. If this is helping you see your body differently, tap the like button. It helps us reach more people who are looking for natural, non-medication based healing. One final insight. Low stomach acid doesn't just lead to bloating, it can lead to downstream problems like SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, nutrient deficiencies, and even immune system dysfunction. Your stomach is meant to be your body's firewall. When it's weak, everything downstream becomes vulnerable. So next time you feel bloated, instead of asking, "What did I eat?" try asking, "Did my body have the tools it needed to digest it?" Your body isn't broken. It may just be running low on acid, and with the right support, it knows exactly how to recover. If you ever feel bloated, especially after eating something rich or fatty, even healthy fats, like avocado, salmon, or olive oil, there's a high chance your liver and bile system are quietly asking for support. And this piece of the puzzle is often overlooked, especially in older adults. Let's start with what bile actually is. Bile is a thick, golden green fluid made by your liver and stored in your gallbladder. Its job is to break down dietary fats into absorbable particles. Think of bile as nature's degreaser. Without it, fats linger too long in your digestive tract, creating pressure, bloating, and sometimes even a chalky sensation after eating. But bile doesn't just help you digest fat, it also carries toxins, excess hormones, and metabolic waste out of the body through the stool. So when bile isn't flowing well, it doesn't just slow digestion, it slows detoxification. As we age, bile can become too thick, sluggish, or insufficient. That's partly due to dehydration, low choline intake, or simply not eating enough bitter foods, which are nature's signal to the liver to release and thin out bile. And when bile stagnates, you may start to experience the classic signs: bloating after meals, constipation, nausea, or a feeling of fullness that lingers long after eating. Now here's what's happening in your body. Every time you eat fat, your gallbladder should contract and release bile into the small intestine. But when bile is thick or your gallbladder is sluggish, that release doesn't happen efficiently. The fat just sits there undigested, and bacteria in your gut begin to ferment the undigested food, creating gas and inflammation. That bloated feeling isn't a reaction to the fat, it's your body struggling to emulsify and process it. Many older adults are told to reduce fat when they complain of bloat. But the real solution isn't to fear fat, it's to support bile. Your body needs healthy fats for hormone balance, brain function, and cell repair. Avoiding fat only creates new problems. What your body needs is better bile. One of the most powerful ways to support bile naturally is to increase your intake of bitter foods. Think arugula, dandelion greens, radicchio, artichokes, and lemon water. These bitter compounds stimulate the liver to produce more bile and encourage the gallbladder to release. Even just sipping warm lemon water before a meal can make a difference in how you digest that food. Another helpful nutrient is choline, which is essential for healthy bile formation. You'll find choline in egg yolks, liver, salmon, and cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Most people, especially seniors, don't get enough choline, and that can quietly contribute to poor bile quality and fat intolerance. If you've had your gallbladder removed, supporting bile becomes even more important. Without a gallbladder, your body still makes bile, but it drips continuously in small amounts, not in the strategic bursts that aid digestion. That's why bile salts, or ox bile supplements, taken with meals, can help replicate what your body would naturally do with a functioning gallbladder. Even your daily hydration plays a role here. Bile is about 85% water. If you're mildly dehydrated, which many seniors are, you're more likely to have thick, sluggish bile. Drinking enough clean water throughout the day keeps your bile thin and flowing. Now let's connect this back to bloat. When bile is flowing well, fats digest smoothly. You feel lighter, more satisfied, and more regular. Your meals leave you nourished, not heavy. But when bile is sluggish or missing, fat digestion slows down, leading to fermentation, pressure, and the kind of bloating that feels like something is stuck in your upper abdomen. That's not a food sensitivity. It's a sign of impaired fat metabolism. Subscribe if you're learning something new, because there's more natural healing wisdom to come. And remember, your liver is one of the most resilient organs in your body. It regenerates, it adapts, and it responds beautifully to the right support. You don't need to force your body, you just need to work with it. So if bloating hits you after a healthy meal, especially one with fat, don't blame the food. Instead, consider the help your liver help you, and you'll not only feel better after meals, but you'll also support detoxification, hormone balance, and the kind of vitality that healthy aging is built on. Every meal you eat is a puzzle your body has to solve. Proteins must be broken down into amino acids. Carbohydrates need to be converted into usable sugars. Fats must be emulsified and absorbed, but your body doesn't do this on willpower. It does it through enzymes. And one of the most important, yet often overlooked, players in this digestive process is your pancreas. The pancreas is a quiet organ with a powerful job. Every time you eat, it releases a custom blend of enzymes, protease, to break down protein, lipase for fat, and amylase for carbohydrate. These enzymes work in the small intestine, where they complete the breakdown process that your stomach and liver started. Without them, food simply doesn't get fully digested. And what's only partially digested becomes food for bacteria, which leads to, you guessed it, bloating, gas, and discomfort. Here's the part that's especially important for seniors and anyone experiencing slow digestion. As we age, the pancreas doesn't always keep up. Its ability to produce digestive enzymes can diminish due to inflammation, stress, or just natural aging. It's subtle at first. You may notice more bloating after meals, or that you feel full after just a few bites. Over time, you might become sensitive to foods that never used to bother you. That's not your body turning against you. It's your body struggling to keep up without the enzyme support it once had. Let's look at what's happening physiologically. After your food leaves the stomach, it enters the small intestine. But in order for nutrients to be absorbed here, they need to be in their smallest, most broken down form. That's the job of pancreatic enzymes. If enzyme levels are low, the food lingers too long, starts to ferment, and feeds the wrong kinds of gut bacteria. This fermentation creates gases like methane and hydrogen, which cause bloating, pressure, and discomfort. In fact, many cases of IBAS, or post-meal bloating, may actually be subclinical pancreatic insufficiency, meaning the pancreas isn't damaged, but it's not producing enough enzymes to match the digestive load. And in seniors, that's a quiet epidemic. But there's good news. Your body is always communicating with you. That bloated feeling is not a mystery symptom, it's information, and it often means that a little outside enzyme support could go a long way. One of the most practical ways to support this system is to include enzyme-rich foods in your diet. Pineapple contains bromelain, papaya has papain. Fermented foods like sauerkraut and kimchi provide natural enzymes that can complement what your body is producing. These aren't magic fixes, but they help nudge the system forward. For deeper support, many older adults benefit from a broad-spectrum digestive enzyme supplement. These contain small amounts of protease, lipase, and amylase, mimicking your pancreas's natural blend. The goal isn't to take them forever, but to give your body the help it needs to catch up. Think of it like reading glasses for your gut. They don't replace your vision, they support it when it needs a little clarity. Of course, eating in a calm seated position, and thoroughly chewing your food, also makes a difference. When you chew, you're not just mechanically breaking down food, you're activating a neural signal that tells the pancreas, get ready, food is coming. Skipping this step by eating too fast, or too distracted, causes a delay in enzyme release, and that delay is often felt as bloating or heaviness. If this is helping you understand your body in a new way, give it a thumbs up. Every click helps us reach more people searching for natural ways to feel better after meals. The truth is, your pancreas wants to help you. It's part of a beautiful system designed to break down, absorb, and heal. But just like a team member under pressure, it sometimes needs backup. Providing that support, whether through food, timing, or occasional supplementation, can restore that feeling of lightness and freedom after. Bloating isn't your new normal, it's a signal, and once you understand it, you can support your digestion with intelligence, not guess. Digestion doesn't begin in your stomach. It begins in your brain. More specifically, it begins in your nervous system. And that's where the vagus nerve comes in. A long, winding nerve that connects your brainstem to every major organ in your digestive tract. You can think of it as the communication highway between your gut and your brain. A direct line of command that tells your stomach to produce acid, your pancreas to release enzymes, and your intestines to begin moving food along. Here's why this matters. If your vagus nerve isn't activated before a meal, your digestive system stays in a kind of idle mode. The stomach doesn't release enough acid. The pancreas underperforms. Peristalsis, the wave-like motion that moves food through the intestines, slows down. And the end result? Food lingers. It ferments. And that leads to bloating, gas, and a heavy, uncomfortable sensation in the gut. This is one of the most overlooked causes of bloating, and it has nothing to do with what you ate. It has everything to do with how you entered the meal. Your nervous system has two primary states, sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic state is your fight or flight mode, activated when you're stressed, busy, or rushing. The parasympathetic state is your rest and digest mode, activated when you're calm, grounded, and present. Digestion only works properly in this parasympathetic state, and the vagus nerve is the switch that turns it on. Now think about how most people eat, distracted by screens, answering emails, standing at the counter, driving, or multitasking. The body is in sympathetic mode. It's focused on survival, not digestion. So even if the food is healthy, your body isn't primed to receive it. And that's when problems begin. The good news is, there are simple and natural ways to stimulate your vagus nerve before meals, and by doing so, prepare your entire digestive system to function as it was designed to. One of the most effective tools is deep diaphragmatic breathing. Just 3 to 5 slow, deep belly breaths before a meal can shift your nervous system into parasympathetic mode and send the signal, it's time to digest. This works because the vagus nerve runs through your diaphragm. So when you breathe deeply into your belly, you gently massage and activate this nerve. Another gentle vagal activator is humming. That's right, just humming to yourself while preparing your food or before sitting down to eat. The vibrations stimulate the vagus nerve as it passes through the vocal cords and throat. It may sound too simple to be true, but small things like this can make a profound difference in how your body digests. Even something as basic as gratitude, pausing for a few seconds before your first bite to acknowledge the nourishment in front of you, can activate the vagus nerve. This practice brings the brain and body into alignment. It tells your system, you are safe, you are ready to digest. This is especially important for seniors, because as we age, vagal tone tends to weaken, and a weakened vagus nerve means weaker digestion, slower motility, and more frequent bloating. But vagal tone can be trained, just like a muscle. Practices like gentle yoga, meditation, cold exposure, and slow eating all support its function. The more you engage your vagus nerve consciously, the more naturally it will respond over time. If you're finding this helpful, consider subscribing. We're building a community of people who want to age with wisdom, not worry, by supporting the body's natural intelligence. What's powerful about vagus nerve activation is that it doesn't rely on supplements or medications. It's a form of healing that's always within reach. You can feel the shift in your breath, your pulse, and even your mood when you take those few moments to ground yourself before eating. Digestion is not just a mechanical process, it's a nervous system event. And when you learn to calm the system first, digestion flows more easily, meals feel more satisfying, and that uncomfortable bloat begins to fade, not because you forced your body, but because you listened to it. You don't need to fight your body, just understand what it needs to feel safe, ready, and supported. One of the most overlooked causes of bloating isn't just what you eat, it's when you eat. Most people think of digestion like a conveyor belt. Food goes in, gets broken down, and moves out. But digestion is not constant. It's rhythmic. Your gut follows a wave-like schedule of motion and cleanup that depends on timing. When that rhythm is disrupted, especially by constant snacking or late-night eating, the system becomes congested and bloating begins. Your body has a remarkable built-in housekeeping system called the migrating motor complex, or MMC. It's not part of digestion itself, but rather the cleanup crew that kicks in between meals. About 90 minutes after you eat, the MMC sends sweeping waves through your stomach and small intestine, pushing out leftover food, debris, and bacteria. This motion helps prevent fermentation, bacterial overgrowth, and stagnation, all of which can cause bloating if left unchecked. But here's the key. The MMC only activates during fasting states, not when you're eating, snacking, or even sipping caloric drinks. So if you're eating small amounts every hour, or grazing throughout the day, this essential wave never gets a chance to clean house. And that means food remnants and microbes can linger, ferment, and produce gas, especially in the small intestine, where they're not supposed to be. This is why many people feel bloated even when they're not eating large meals. Their gut simply hasn't had a break long enough to reset. It's like running your dishwasher over and over again, without ever draining the water. Now here's where it gets empowering. You can restore this natural rhythm with something as simple as meal space. Just leaving 4 to 5 hours between meals gives your gut enough time to complete a full MMC wave cycle. That allows food to move forward, bacteria to be cleared out, and digestion to reset. Many people notice a dramatic drop in bloating just by spacing meals more intentionally, even without changing what they eat. And for older adults, this becomes even more important. As we age, gut motility tends to slow down. That means the digestive wave is weaker and needs more time to complete its job. Constant snacking or irregular eating patterns put extra stress on an already slow system, compounding the bloat, gas, and heaviness after meals. There's also a hormonal connection. Constant eating, especially high-carb snacks, keeps insulin elevated and prevents the body from entering its natural fat-burning and repair states. This can increase inflammation and water retention, both of which contribute to that swollen, puffy feeling many associate with bloat. When you give your body time between meals, you're not just helping digestion, you're reducing inflammation, balancing hormones, and giving your gut the rest it needs to work smarter, not harder. And then there's nighttime eating. Eating too close to bedtime is one of the surest ways to disrupt digestion. Lying down slows gut motility even further, allowing food to stagnate in the stomach and ferment. That's why bloating and reflux often worsen in the evening. By finishing your last meal at least 3 hours before bed, you allow your body to process the food fully before switching into deep repair mode during sleep. If this is helping you understand your body more clearly, give it a like and share it with someone who's been struggling with that heavy bloated feeling after meals. These small changes can create huge shifts in how you feel day to day. Remember, your gut is not designed to be on all the time. Just like your muscles need rest between workouts, your digestive system needs rest between meals. That rest is what activates the migrating motor complex, clears out leftovers, balances your microbiome, and keeps bloating in check, not by restriction, but by rhythm. You don't need to eat less. You need to eat with your body's natural cycle. That's how you support longevity, reduce inflammation, and age with clarity, energy, and ease. Not all carbohydrates are created equal, especially when it comes to how they interact with your gut. And for many older adults, the real root of bloating may not be how much they eat, but how well their gut bacteria handle what they're eating. This is where fermentable carbohydrates, commonly known as FODMAPs, come into focus. These are a group of short-chain carbohydrates that resist digestion and are easily fermented by bacteria in the gut. That fermentation creates gas. And when the gut microbiome is out of balance or sluggish, that gas builds up fast, leading to bloating, cramping, and discomfort. Now, FODMAPs are not inherently bad. In fact, they're found in some of the healthiest foods on the planet, like onions, garlic, apples, beans, and certain whole grains. In a well-functioning digestive system with a diverse microbiome, these foods feed beneficial bacteria and help maintain long-term gut health. But in aging adults, the digestive terrain changes, enzyme levels drop, motility slows, the diversity of the microbiome often shrinks. This creates a situation where even healthy foods can become problematic, not because the food is wrong, but because the ecosystem isn't ready to handle it. What's happening in your body is a shift in microbial balance. As you age, your beneficial bacteria may decline, especially species that help regulate fermentation. At the same time, certain gas-producing bacteria may become more dominant, especially if digestion is impaired. That imbalance creates a kind of microbial traffic jam. You eat something like lentils, it ferments faster than your gut can process, and suddenly you feel bloated, distended, even foggy. It's important to understand this. The problem isn't you. It's not a flaw in your body or a failure of willpower. It's simply that your internal environment has changed, and now it needs different support. One of the most effective ways to navigate this is to identify your personal threshold for FODMAPs. You don't need to eliminate them forever, but temporarily reducing your intake while supporting digestive strength and microbial diversity can provide tremendous relief. Many people find that a few weeks of low FODMAP eating helps reduce bloating significantly, giving their system a chance to reset. At the same time, you can support your microbiome through targeted prebiotic foods that are easier to digest, like cooked and cooled potatoes, small amounts of kiwi, or carrots. These feed good bacteria without overwhelming the system. Gradually, as digestion improves and balance is restored, more variety can be reintroduced without the same bloating response. Probiotics can also help, but they must be chosen wisely. Not all strains are helpful for bloat. For some, especially seniors, spore-based probiotics, or specific strains like Bacillus coagulans and Bifidobacterium infantis, may be more tolerable and effective. These strains support microbial diversity without producing excess gas. Another simple but powerful habit is mindful food combined. Eating fruit alone, avoiding raw cruciferous vegetables with heavy proteins, and not mixing too many high FODMAP items in one meal can reduce fermentation load and give your gut a smoother experience. You're not restricting, you're adjusting intelligently. If this helped reframe how you think about bloating, hit subscribe. You're not broken, you're just biologically changing, and when you learn to eat with that change, healing becomes possible again. And always remember, your microbiome is adaptable. Even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your gut bacteria can shift with the right inputs. With time, rhythm, and nourishment, your body can reestablish harmony. The goal isn't to fear food, it's to understand how to use it as medicine. Bloating after eating isn't a sign of weakness, it's a mess. And when you listen closely, you'll discover that your body isn't trying to sabotage you, it's asking for alignment, balance, and the kind of gentle, consistent care that leads to true, lasting health. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Bloating isn't random. It's not a normal part of aging, and it's not something you just have to live with. It's your body trying to tell you something, and once you understand the language, you can respond with precision, not guesswork. When you feel bloated after eating, It's rarely just about the food itself. It's about how prepared your body is to digest it. And digestion is a coordinated symphony: stomach acid, bile, enzymes, nerve signaling, timing, and microbial balance all play critical roles. If even one part of that system falters, you feel it. But the good news is, each of these parts can be supported naturally, and without relying on medications or rigid diets. You've learned that low stomach acid is far more common than excess, and that boosting acid through mindful habits like apple cider vinegar, slow eating, and chewing thoroughly can restore your body's ability to break down food from the very beginning. You've discovered the crucial role of bile, how it helps emulsify fats and eliminate toxins, and how simple things like lemon water, bitter greens, and proper hydration can help your liver and gallbladder do their job with grace. You've seen how the pancreas produces enzymes that decline with age, and how enzyme-rich foods, or supplemental enzymes, can ease that pressure and prevent the slow fermentation that causes bloating deep in the gut. You've explored the vagus nerve, and how digestion is not just mechanical, it's neurological. That deep breathing, humming, and creating a calm environment before meals can actually improve the quality of your digestion even before your first bite. You've understood the importance of meal spacing, that the migrating motor complex needs time to clean and reset between meals, and how reducing constant snacking allows your body to do the housekeeping it's designed to do. And finally, you've learned that your microbiome, especially as you age, may need extra support, that some healthy foods may cause bloating, not because they're bad, but because your digestive system isn't ready yet. With smart food combining low FODMAP transitions and strain-specific probiotics, you can rebuild that balance. None of these insights rely on restriction, none require medication. They ask for rhythm, timing, attention, and respect for how beautifully your body is wired to heal when you support it the right way. So what can you do today? Start small, but start deliberately. Tonight, drink a glass of lemon water, or take a few deep breaths before dinner. Eat in silence, chew slowly, and give your body the space it needs to do what it does best. See how you feel, then try spacing your meals tomorrow, or adding a bitter green to your plate, or removing a known fermentable food for a few days, just to observe. These are small hinges that swing big doors. If your body has been sending you messages in the form of bloating, heaviness, or discomfort, know this: those are not signs of dysfunction, they're signals, and your body wants you to hear them, not to punish you, but to guide you back toward balance, back toward alignment with the natural way your physiology works best. And remember, this isn't just about feeling lighter after meals. It's about nutrient absorption, it's about reducing inflammation, it's about freeing up energy so your body can focus on healing, restoring, and thrive. Your digestion is foundational, and by supporting it, you're not just improving one system, you're supporting your immunity, your brain, your sleep, your mood, and your ability to age with clarity and grace. So here's your challenge. Over the next 48 hours, choose one or two of the protocols we've discussed, and try them. Journal how you feel, track your energy after meals, pay attention to your body. You may be surprised how quickly it responds when you stop pushing and start aligning. If you found this helpful, let us know in the comments. What will you try first? And don't forget to subscribe and join this journey of natural healing and healthy aging. Your body is ready. You just need to give it what it needs. Your body isn't broken. It's wise. It's waiting. And with the right rhythm, it's capable of more than you've been told.